My name is Adryel Talamantes, and I'm a photojournalist. The image Tsuen Wan Front was taken on August 25th, 2019 in Tsuen Wan, which is on the Kowloon side of Hong Kong. A large anti-government protest was planned for that day, and everybody assembled at the Kwai Chung sports field. And at the assigned time, thousands and thousands of people started marching from there to Tsuen Wan. And after about an hour and a half, the march ended several hundred meters from where this image was taken. It was a drizzly, overcast, rainy day. Sometimes it would start coming down for a little bit, and then it would stop. And after the march had ended, several hundred, if not 1,000, maybe more, of the more hardline protesters, the frontliners, the Braves, as they're called by some, walked over to the road here, and not too far from them there were, large amounts of Hong Kong police in riot gear assembled and ready. And in short order, the protesters started setting up improvised roadblocks, and it was clear that a confrontation was going to take place. A lot of tear gas was used that day. The protesters were throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails toward police lines, but none of them could really, reach police lines, because the area in between the police lines and the protester lines were always probably at least 50 meters away from each other, though the protesters did keep moving forward, pushing the barricades forward. And I knew that the best place to get the images that I wanted would be right in there amongst the protesters. There were several photojournalists milling about on the front lines themselves. You choose a different place to be depending on your own inclination, really. Some of the protesters were, I won't say they were shocked to see me right there alongside them, but you could tell that some of them were like, "Hey, you're right in here with us." Wow, in a way, the words were not exchanged. These young men in the picture were all kneeling down, as well as and I was kneeling down as well, because there were tear gas, submunition shells flying around. There were tear gas grenades being thrown, rocks being thrown on the part of the protesters, and every now and then you don't want to take a misdirected rock to the head or whatnot. I liked the way that the young men were standing there, as well as the lasers radiating away from the back, as if they were radiating away from that one individual towards the center of the frame. I was in quite a bit of confrontations of this nature, and the level of organization that the protesters showed was very impressive. Some of them, you could tell, were specifically tasked with putting out tear gas submunitions by either carrying bottles of water or little bowls of water or whatever, and they would be wearing mitts or some sort of protective gloves in order to grab the submunitions, because they'd still be hot as they would be spewing out gas, tear gas, and they'd put them in water or throw them back, etc. This confrontation lasted about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the most, and this was the first day that the Hong Kong police used the riot control, the crowd control water cannon vehicle, though not to great effect, because nobody really got soaked as far as I know. Being that this was in late August, this weekend basically in a way signaled the start of of a really uptick in the intensity of the clashes that would take place. And at this point, like I can say that I was really unsure as to how bad things were going to get. I'm sure a lot of the protesters were unsure about how bad things would get. The general public, the police, everybody, nobody knew where this was going and what the high water mark would be up to this point. And I think even now, even though things have slowed down a bit, from what I've seen and from what my colleagues on the ground have told me, the people who I know who are still there, nobody really knows if things are over yet and if things could get back to this level or get even worse. But the main reason I took this image, because I think it was really representative of what it was like to be in the middle of one of these confrontations.